Hi everyone, happy holidays. So today I'm going to be discussing sexual assault on campus. So sexual assault is a non-consensual behavior and can range from touch to rape. Sexual assault is more prevalent on college campus than any other crime. It says people who were sexually assaulted may experience anxiety, depression, disassociation, eating disorders, sleeping disorders, PTSD, and other mental health issues. So knowing this information, when a student come in to see me as a counselor about sexual assault, I want to make sure that I am empathetic, non-judgmental, and let them know like they are not the only ones. Like sometimes as victims, they may feel like, sometimes they feel like it can never happen to me, but it being the most prevalent crime than any other one on campus, I want to make sure that they know like it's safe, it's non-judgmental, and you are not the only one. It's very, very important to be empathetic, and we built that therapeutic relationship, especially going through something traumatic as this. And they can be feeling a range of their feelings can range from emotions from fear, embarrassment, pain, and anger. It will be important to let them know that their feelings are valid. And again, this is a safe environment for them to be open and vulnerable. So before I start to ask tough questions or kind of go into details about what happened, I want to make sure that we build the therapeutic relationship, even asking them about, why they attended this college, what's their major, what made them major in that, getting to know my client before I actually go into details about something, traumatic that happened. So really getting to know the client, making sure they open up to me, and making sure that they know this is a non-judgmental, safe place for them to be open and vulnerable. I think that's important to start off. As many victims, fear of telling their stories. Sometimes they fear that people won't believe them. I want to make sure that I tell the victim, you are brave for coming out, because a lot of victims do not come out and say what happened to them. So for you to do this is brave of you. And we will make sure that you are heard and believed. So I want to make sure that the client knows that we are here for them, right? And that's another form of building that therapeutic relationship. And then I want to go a little bit more into detail about what happened, right? And one of the things I would want to know was drugs involved, and was the consumption voluntary and non-voluntary? And a little bit more information about a study that I found. Drug-related sexual assaults on college campus are more frequent than someone just, forcing themselves upon someone without drugs. Examine different tactics that sexual assault assailants use to perpetrate sexual assaults, and found that among the undergraduate samples of women, twice as many women reported that sexual assault occurred after someone else gave them drugs or gave them alcohol. So it's important to know this. And then this is where psychoeducation can come in as well. Like if somebody, slipped them something in their drink, just letting them know to be more mindful when you go out, to not take drinks, from strangers, and look at the drink. There's signs to see if someone slips you something, in your drink. So giving more information about the telltales if someone slipped you something. If they didn't slip you something, you got it voluntarily, just making sure your levels of intoxication, going out with trustworthy friends that won't let anything happen to you, right? And y'all protect each other. So it's important to know about if there was alcohol and drugs involved, and giving more information on, if it is, ways to protect yourself in the future from a sexual assault. It's also important to know if they knew the perpetrator. If they knew the perpetrator, again, this is a non-judgmental environment. So if they don't want to go to authorities, just asking them why. Sometimes the victim wants to protect the person, and if they don't, making sure you keep your distance from that person. If they did know the perpetrator, if they didn't know the perpetrator and they want to take it a step further, making sure that they did contact law enforcement, a sketch, you know, whatever we need to do to catch the person so they don't do it again to someone else. So again, just letting them know that they are brave for coming out. They are strong, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that they feel safe, heard, and we start the healing process. So what I would want to use, I would actually want to use CBT. And the reason I would want to do that, because many victims start to feel self-blame after the assault. And CBT, cognitive behavioral approach, can help with cognitive distortions, which is like negative beliefs that people can have about themselves and others. And so listen to this. Self-blame can have a negative impact on emotional and mental health and has been associated with higher levels of PTSD symptoms and depression. Many victims, after being assaulted, they have self-blame, like somehow it was their fault, right? So I want to make sure that the student knows this is not your fault, right? And sometimes the victims can feel that way. So I want to be able to combat those cognitive distortions. So I would want to use a CBT approach. And then it says, study found that self-blame was a more important predictor of distress than the frequency of past victimization. So self-blame can really have a number on the victim. So I want to make sure that we engage in approaches and exercises and activities that help with cognitive distortions, especially when it comes to self-blame, because self-blame can have negative connotations for the victim. So I want to approach CBT. I also want to make sure that they know to give themselves grace. So because sometimes we can go through this and we can overwork ourselves or just try not to think about it. So we overwork ourselves or we overdo it. But I want to let the student know to give themselves grace. We can talk together, right? Because this is a therapeutic relationship. I want them to know that they are involved in this healing process as well. What that will look like to reach out to professors, you know, maybe they need, you know, some time off a little bit to regroup. Because usually victims go through, they see like their academic performance decline, right? So making sure that they give themselves grace to do the work, you know, making sure that they give themselves grace to heal and take time. And it will be important for them to come in twice a week. We could figure out what that look like to make sure that they get the help and the healing that they need. And if it comes down to it, you know, resources for the police, resources for tutoring, right? Resources like a what is that called, like an anonymous, you know, hotline or group to where they can hear other people's experiences, because you know we heal with each other. When other people went through the same experience, we can heal better together like that. So resources for sexual assault on campus. So just let them know that this is not going to happen overnight, and as a counselor I am here for them. Let me see if I answer all the questions. I did. So first off, just make sure that they feel safe, non-judgmental, and making sure through this process that they feel heard, right? And I am here for them, and making sure that we start this healing process.